All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this exciting live with Glorious Life on Wheels and special guests, ladies of the nomad life, or ladies of van life, I'll call them. We got Dee from Lady Bugout. We have van life with Gina, and I'm trying to see if I can't get Bunny Plays here in here. If she just goes on the live, I tried to get her the link, but for some reason it didn't go through. So we're going to come over and give you an opportunity to ask some questions because these ladies have different experiences. Dee is in a part-time basis, but on the road a lot and in places for long periods of time, traveling in a very, very small but beautifully laid out van. Gina is in a box truck and travels with pets, and also, but you tend to be more stationary for right now, but you're going back and forth, right?
Yeah. Stationary, but I've traveled but I pretty much stay in the same area, and I have a spot I can stay parked at if I need to.
So what we want to talk about too today is I've had two questions that really got my attention. I'm going to go over and say hello to everyone in a minute, but I just want to say two questions that on the panel that we did at Gutted. One of the, I should have read it. She said, you know what, that's fine and great, but I really want to know about the crap side of van life because I'm getting ready to hit the road and I want to know about the crap side of it. And then someone else said, they said, you know what, we really want to know about the budget. How do you budget? Oh, I see Bunny Plays is here. Okay, I'm going to try and do an invite. And you know how sometimes I mess up. So we'll try and see if I can't get this over here and get her. Nope, I didn't that time. Let me try again. Okay, Jessica, thank you. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to see if we can't get this. Okay, let's see. We want to get it pasted up here. Let's see. Okay, I may need you guys to help me because for some reason it's not.
Are you just wanting to get her from the audience? Is that what you're wanting to?
Yeah.
Okay, so don't worry about the YouTube side of it, but on the StreamYard side, click on Invite Guest.
I did that, and then I hit the copy to clipboard.
Okay, now go over into the chat on your StreamYard side, push paste, and then post it, and it'll show up in YouTube for her.
Yeah, it's not showing paste. That's the problem.
Okay, so right click.
Okay, right click. Okay. Nope. All right. Well, I'll keep doing it as we're going. Bunny, I will get you up here shortly.
I can maybe get her the link and put it in the. Oh, well, I'm not a mod. I am a mod. I'll get it and put it in your chat real quick.
Okay. Oh, here's paste. Maybe I can do it here.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Okay, there it is. Bunny, if you just go onto that link that I put into the chat and hit it, you'll come up into the basement, and then I'll hit and bring you up. So Bunny Plays here is in the house. Let me just say hello to everyone first. Michelle M, hello. You're saying just now hearing about Gutted. When is the next one? They haven't announced it. This one was in was it October or September? You know, my mind's gone. It was October. September. When was it? All right, it was in September. I heard rumors they may do it in June though, Michelle. But when it is done, I'm sure we'll all be announcing it. So, but it was quite an event. Anonymous person, hello, anonymous person. Shara of Heart is in the house. Iron Firehorse, hello. She's saying hello to Carol, Gina, Dee, and everybody. Bunny's going to be up here hopefully in a minute. Graham Whitaker says, morning, Janice, all my good side of the ditch. Janice says, show your age, no stopping and smelling the roses. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no stopping. Arcuda 2001. Hey, Nora's in the house. Is saying hi to Dana. Nora, could you give me a call or hit me up on Gmail after this? I have something I want to talk to you about, and I really want to talk to you about this. I think you might find it interesting. So hit me up if you will. Give me a call or hit me on Gmail after this is over. Janice Williams says we need Gina all the time. Yes, yes, we do. Gail Resources is saying hello. Terry Foster says Yippee Bunny is the best. She is. I'm hoping she's going to get up here. Bunny, hit and let me know. Are you having a problem getting in the basement? Because I did put that stream up. Terry Foster. Oh, I already said that. Janet. Hello, Janet. Miss Sunshine is saying hello. Arcuna said, yeah, she'll give me a call. Thanks, Nora. ER Leah says, hi, Glow D and Van Life with Gina. Well, the other question is the person who is getting ready to go on the road wanted to know about budget. And that is so different. You know, I was working out some figures as to what it costs me to go to the gutted. And all together with dropping Jessica off, I did about 3,300 miles. And I was figuring out, you know, and that's the difference too, because it's different depending on where you're traveling. Because
and how often you travel.
How often? Yeah.
How hard, like if you're going across country, if you're just traveling slow, you can save money.
But absolutely.
Otherwise, no.
Yeah, if you're doing 3,300 miles every 2 weeks, you're going to spend hundreds of dollars. Right. If you're, here's Bunny, here she is. Okay, hey, welcome to the stream.
Hello.
All right, well, I was just telling them that 2 questions that I had from the panel that you all were on was about, one person said she wants to know the crap side of van life because she's getting ready to go on the road. And someone else wanted to know what really to expect from a budget. So why don't we start with, hey, what are some of the downsides of van life? Because so often you see people in their, you know, with their feet towards the ocean, and you see the glass of wine and so who wants to go first?
That's hashtag van life.
Okay, hashtag van life.
Yeah, I did a show about that. Yeah, but yeah, just van life it's like everyday life. It's just like being in a house, but you got to budget to what you can do. I'm on SSDI, so I don't have a lot to budget with, but if I was traveling, I would have to travel slow, go somewhere, stay a week, go somewhere, stay a week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I just did a short trip halfway up the Oregon coast and then back down, and that was $300 just in gas.
And how many miles would you say that we went total?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't check the mileage. Halfway up the coast of the Oregon border, and then across to the middle to I-5 and back down to the south. And it was $300. I didn't get the mileage on it, but it was $300. And
how long were you gone for? About
10 days.
So if every 10 days you traveled like that, you would be spending $900 a month in gas.
And there would be my budget. That would be what I have to live on. So I mean, right at it, you know. So it's like you have to. The budget comes with what you can spend or what you can do.
Right.
I pay for a spot I can park at, but it is so much cheaper than sticks and bricks. So,
mm-hmm.
you know, I'm able to save a little money that way. And so, but if you're frugal, I mean, like eat in the van, not out at a restaurant. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
Don't always have to have what hashtag van life vans have, you know, yeah, just live within your means is part of the budget pretty much.
And now Bunny, you travel a lot. You go. So
yes.
Would you say that gas is your biggest expense?
Definitely. And with the way that I travel, it's a little bit different. So I travel for my vlog. And so I have a lot of things that I go to specific to my channel. And so although gas is my biggest expenditure just for the overall experience, sometimes I encounter things like the eating out just to do a food review or going to a specific place. So for me, though, gas was something that I really had to take into consideration because I knew I was going to be putting so many miles on. And that's why I ended up with something that was super fuel efficient.
So now, for instance, how many miles? I get, like in town, I get about 12 miles per gallon. On the road, I get somewhere 15 to 18. Now, how many miles do you get per gallon, Bunny?
Whenever I'm not in extremes, I'm 35 to 40 miles per gallon. So that really helps shape my travel.
Right there, your gas budget doing the same travel that I do would be less than half of mine.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's why I was really leaning toward this until I'm ready to slow down a little bit more and not drive quite as far. I wanted to have something that was going to be able to get me from point A to point B and then still have some money to spend.
Right. So what it's sounding like is not just the way you travel, but also, you know, before you start van life, considering how you're going to travel, how you want to travel, because that may very well determine what kind of vehicle you may be looking at.
Right.
You know, if you're looking at a class A, you know, and you want to go travel like Bunny does, you're going to be spending thousands a month on gas.
Yes.
We're, you know, so looking at the way you want to travel will help to determine what kind of vehicle you really can afford, not just how nice it is, but in terms of gas mileage. Now, you tend to stay in one location more for a longer length of time, even though you're traveling.
Correct. Yes. And yeah, that would be one thing I'd say as well, that like Bunny, I chose the Transit Connect because the gas mileage was going to be better. But I will pick a place where I'm going to go and I'll stay there for a couple weeks at a time, sometimes, up to 5 weeks at a time.
Right.
And then just go in the area around there. But the big long trip, and really, I can go cross country. I mean, I think last time I did it was maybe $200, I want to say.
Wow.
I mean, it would, my gas mileage is great too. I get not as good as Bunny, and it depends where I am. If I'm going up and down a lot, that puts it down.
Right.
But if from the Midwest over to out west, it gets like 30 miles to the gallon. It's
I don't know of a stranger at a gas station here where I drive at. They all know me.
Because you're in that big box van, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's a step van. It has a 454 in it. And
wow.
You know, it's old school. And so, I don't get to wave at many of them. Most of them know me by first name. So, yeah.
So those are for people who are starting out, and a lot of the people who come in and watch my videos are people who are just starting out or getting ready to. So that is a huge consideration. You know, if I went across country in mine, it would be huge. Now, what is so it doesn't sound like gas is your biggest expense, Dee. So what would you say your biggest expense is?
Yeah, I mean, it would be my biggest expense.
Would it
because that's all I really, my food is normal that I would spend anywhere. Yeah.
So traveling the way you
stay on BLM land, so that's free. So when I do go into campgrounds, which I will, when Bunny and I were traveling, we paid for camping, and it was great. And I can afford that because I can save in other ways. Right. So really, gas is the biggest expense I have.
So it sounds like what you all are saying is setting your priorities and then setting a travel style that meets your priorities. If you want to, like Bunny, and maybe not traveling as much as Bunny, but if you want to, when you do travel, if you want to visit sites that will have admission fees to get in, and if you want to eat at restaurants, you might need to travel more slowly so that you can transfer the money you would spend on gas onto that. If you want to travel a lot, then you're maybe not going to eat out as much, and you're not going to be doing some of the activities. So that's what it's sounding like. I saw here Kathy Isaac said the crap side for her was the cold. She says she's freezing, but she's in a car. So that, you know, makes a big difference. Also, Michelle was saying she gets 25 plus miles per gallon. I'm sorry, you all, I don't multitask very well. So I'm going to go over just for a second to the comments and say hello. So I say Bernadette Graffiel says hello. Iron Firehorse says I went with a Dodge Caravan for affordability. That makes sense. Janice is saying someone was asking what kind of vehicle Bunny has. Bunny, do you want to tell everyone what kind of vehicle you're in?
I have a 2020 NV200, so that's like the tiny little Nissan van. It's kind of like Dee's, but it's a little bit different. The way that our cabs are shaped, that's the main difference, is just she has a little bit more height than I do. And yeah, they're pretty much the same otherwise.
Okay. So now Iron Fire Horse says, Xenia World says Bunny has a Ford Transit. No, Bunny has a NV200 and D has the Ford Transit, but D, you have the slightly older one, which has a higher top, right?
Correct. Yes, and it's a Transit Connect, not a Transit.
Yeah, Transit Connect, right, the little one. The Fordman, aka Kenneth Oak, says live and shared out on the live stream on Facebook and Y2 community tab. Thank you, Kenneth. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Esther Stevens is saying hello. Xenia's World says, Firehorse, we've reached $5 at some stations in California. Yes, we have. So now, also, I was going to bring that up too. So the other thing is where you are traveling as far as gas. So what do the three of you decide where you're going to go ever based on what the gas price is, or do you not go places based on the gas price?
Well, for me, I pick a place that I'm interested in going, and then I kind of just like figure out how long I want to stay based on what they're doing. Like, I did a trip where I went down the PCH all the way from Washington down to San Francisco. And when I got to California, those gas prices went up, up, up. And so I figured out how long I wanted to stay, how long I could budget to stay. And then I just kind of moved on accordingly and just tried to make sure I left myself enough of a cushion there. At the time, that was a little bit earlier in my channel, so my budget was a little bit different at that time. So it was a little different. Now I would probably just float along, and now that I know a little bit more about free campsites and stuff in California, it'd be easier. But gas typically doesn't dictate where I go as much as it does the length of time that I'm willing to pay that price.
Oh, okay. How about you, Dee?
Yeah, I kind of am like that too. I will pick a place that I want to be. And so gas prices, I'll just have to eat that if it is up. I do pay attention more now because I do hear people when they start talking about it a lot, like, oh, out in California now it's so I pay attention to those things, and it will a little bit dictate whether I stay away from certain places. But I travel mainly based on where I want to go or who I want to meet up with, and events that I have planned out so that I can, be out with others if I want to be out with others. So.
How about you, Gina? What does gas dictate to where you will go?
Oh yeah, for me, gas can dictate whether I'm going to drive to town or not. But but yeah, no. But if I was getting ready to say to head to courtside, it would dictate when I was taking off. You know, how far I would travel every day, or if I'd travel somewhere and stay for a week, or it would definitely dictate that for sure.
Okay.
And I seen in the chat somebody say, well, Cat, are you there?
Cat attack.
Cat attack. Luxury or comfort can be expensive. True on that in van life. You know, you're talking about the downsides of van life. Comfort can be expensive, but the point being is that if you're moving into a van thinking it's going to be hashtag van life all the time, you know, you got to be more of a minimalist, I think, to live in a van. That's a minimalist lifestyle. Now, I have a lot of stuff in my van, and I'm always getting rid of stuff. But when push comes to shove, it's a minimal lifestyle, and so you got to be a little bit good with being a little bit uncomfortable, you know.
Now, Van Vita Travels was asking about maintenance and repairs. How much does that impact you? Because to me, that has been one of the things that has been one of the crap sides, because I've had a few problems. And if you're on the road and something goes wrong, you don't know, you know, and as women, we're often taken advantage of by mechanics anyhow, if you don't really know about mechanics. So I find that that's the most frightening thing to me, is to have something go wrong and something like if your refrigerator goes out, or if, you know, something you really need. So what about the rest of you, about do you have a budget that you set for maintenance and repairs, or do you just take it out of your emergency fund? How much do you think that you put aside or save or spend on repairs and just general maintenance? We'll start with you, Dee.
Yeah, I do. I have set aside every month for maintenance kinds of things because I do maintain my van. That's one of the things when I started this, and I guess besides gas, that would be my other expense that I plan for. I don't always need it, but it's there.
Right.
And I get regular checkups and maintenance for oil, obviously, oil changes and stuff. I've put 20,000 miles on my van in a year and a half. And so that, yeah, but it's only 40, 50 bucks depending. And then I just make sure they check everything. And if there's anything that needs repairing, I haven't had anything major yet. So that has been, I lucked out very much with, when I got it, it was in good condition. And the dealer actually told me how much they knew the person personally that they maintained it well. So I think that is important to plan to maintain it just regularly. Yeah.
Don't skip oil changes. Don't skip regular maintenance because
Tires.
It's your house. And if it goes down, you're without your roof over your head. And the expense to try and get a hotel or something else can be just blow your budget completely out of the water. So how about you as far as maintenance, Gina?
Well, my rig is a 73. It's a strong rig. I mean, it only had 70,000 miles on it. The motor only has now 7,000 miles on it. So I'm big on maintenance, oil changes on time. I have a young man that comes out and helps me fix stuff on it, but like I've put my own starter in and stuff like that. So as far as having a fall on budget, I don't have that, but being that it's my house, it's the most important thing. If it needs something, that is what I do. I mean, it's my house. And I may not be able to be traveling all the time, but that's where I put my money is, or to making it, I've only had a refrigerator about 6-7 months now. So, I mean, that was a big deal to me getting a fridge. I mean, I was living with an ice chest and, I have a diesel heater and I also have a Mr. Buddy heater. So I try to think of things that I'm going to need. And that's what I try to get first. And then like now I'm saving up for solar. So.
No, Bunny, how about you and maintenance and repairs?
Whenever I purchased mine, I purchased new so that I could have the extended warranty for my bigger issues. With the Nissan,
and you have a 5-year warranty on yours.
I have 100,000 miles.
Oh yeah, wow. Okay.
So I did that because on my previous vehicle I put about 90,000 miles on it before I got this. So I wanted to do something that would take care of my bigger issues, and then I just make sure I maintain along the way. Keep up with my oil changes, don't ever let it go over, and just do my regular stuff. And before when I check into base camp, before I check back out of base camp to go someplace, I always check everything just in case there's any kind of preventative maintenance that I need to be doing.
Good point.
And that way it keeps my expenditures much, much lower.
So all of you are saying is you just really keep on top of the maintenance, and that keeps your maintenance lower because you don't have surprises because you're proactive on taking care of things. Well, let me ask you this in terms of one of the things, that I hear some people are afraid of is the isolation, because if you're traveling by yourself, you're not always around people, you're not always, you can't get together with friends or girlfriends or family all the time if you're out and, in the middle of nowhere. So do the three of you find that there are times when you're actually lonely and wish you had some companionship? Who wants to go first on that one?
I'll go first. Well, that is where YouTube comes into play. I was very lonely when I started van life. I'm not very lonely, but COVID hadn't started. This was 2019. I had just got my pacemaker. I was just getting where I was feeling healthy enough to do anything, but I got in my van and I decided that was what I was going to do. Live van life, whether it's going to kill me or not, that's what I'm going to do, and it saved my life if you want my opinion. But I park way out in I'm in Southern Oregon. I'm way out in the mountain area, kind of in a valley. So I'm not around people, but when I started YouTube, I've got my best friends on here. I've met so many wonderful people like you and Dee and now Bunny Plate's here. Hey. But what I'm saying is that I can't say I'm lonely. YouTube is what does it for me. But if I
What
was
do you
just
think what do you think people can do who don't have YouTube?
Well,
I mean, we all do, so it's hard for us to say, but what
right. I think being social on like going to these live shows and talking to people in the chat, it keeps you from being lonely. Try to find I believe Bob Wells they're starting up a thing, kind of a caravan thing. People
they're starting to
yep,
they're starting
trying
to back
do
up.
stuff like that, or run it. Try to find another a single lady that would like to travel or travel slow or go camping. And when and the best advice I've ever heard of not being lonely in van life was when Chrome said, "I open my doors wherever he parks at." He opens his doors in the in the daytime, whatever. But like if he's at a park, he opens his doors. People see that and they want to see what you're doing. And loneliness, you can talk to people you don't know and not feel, at least you got some interaction.
Good
So
point.
yeah,
Good point.
use your head about when you're opening your doors, but open up your life, because this is a life not everybody can live or does live, and so people find it very interesting.
Those are very, very good points. How about you two, Dee and Bunny?
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I was apprehensive when I first started, just not knowing any of this, nothing. I had seen other YouTubers and things like that, but I really was wondering how it would be in real life. And the first time I went out ever, a lady pulled up next to me and said, "Hey, this is my first time out and can we camp together?" And I said yes. But I find that helps. You just get out of your van, walk around. If you see somebody, just wave, say hello, and you usually strike up a conversation. I have not had any issue with that. And like Gina said, you're careful, but I have had the opposite, where people are so friendly, and I do the same thing. If I want to be alone, I kind of go somewhere private and just keep my doors a little bit closed. But if I want to meet people, I just open my van or sit outside.
Absolutely.
Right. How about you, Bunny?
I traveled for a long time without my van, so I started off by myself for many, many years before.
Oh, okay.
I actually tent camped and traveled in my car, and I wouldn't see people for long extended periods in time unless I went into a coffee shop or went into a national park. And I found that I started talking to those people because along the way you meet so many interesting people, and it's a shame to just retreat and not try to meet those people. So I felt like those were safe places that I could do that. And I didn't actually meet another van dweller like in a public setting where we were just all hanging out until gutted. I hadn't done any events or anything. And all of the interactions that I had were either when I'd come back to base camp or whenever I'd have those moments where I'm like, "Hey, hi, what's up?" And I found that if you are approachable, people will have those kind of cool conversations, and you learn so much. And some of the neatest people that I've met in my entire life have been from just those random one-off conversations where it's just like, "Oh, I haven't seen anybody in 3 or 4 days. I should probably talk to somebody." And it's been great. So yeah, you can have those moments where you can completely isolate yourself, and it can happen pretty easily, especially if you're allowing yourself to retreat. But I think that if you just try to get out there just a little bit, people are super nice and receptive, and your little feels will go off if it's a wrong conversation you need to walk away from. So, I mean, just be in touch with your little feels.
I noticed when I traveled up the coast, or when I go camping, when I put my cats out in their cat tent, people kind of herd over to see what's going on. And they're like, "Oh man." I go, "Yeah." I met a bunch of some folks from Spain when I went camping a couple of weeks ago, and it was so cool. I set up that cat tent, and that drew people right over to my van.
That animals are a people magnet because They really are. But
my first trip out, I traveled with my friend, and we wore onesies at night because it was cold, and we would have to walk from our tent to the bathroom. We met all sorts of fun friends that way. That was
But I met Dee at a get together or a gathering of out in the desert, and Bunny, I met you at Gutted, and
Yes.
Gina, I met you online. So on one of your lives. So those are ways to meet people. But
Yes.
I think that one of the best things is, again, gatherings, looking up there. If you go on to Van Life Gatherings, there are several different sites that will tell you where the gatherings are. And there's some on the East Coast, like Mayberry is going on, I think, this weekend is it Michigan or North Carolina, somewhere back east. Then, you've got well, we're having a meetup in January. Dee and Dawn is in Quartzsite, and then you had Gutted in Colorado. So there is a Descend on Bend, but I think that's kind of expensive to go to. But there are so many things to go to. Now, someone, I forget who it was asking about winter coming up. And what are all of you doing to prepare for winter? Because as someone was saying in their car, they're really quite cold. So what are all of you doing to prepare for winter in a vehicle? It's not like you can just, turn on the heat in your house and, or a fireplace. So what do you do? Dee, why don't you start out?
Yeah, and actually I saw somebody asked if I use an electric blanket, and I did at the beginning, but I found that it sucked a lot of juice out of my daiquiri, and that's all I really have. So now what I do is I have wool blankets, and then I have the voided blanket that I use, and I turn on my car. I turn on the van for 10 minutes while I'm getting ready for bed and hop in under the covers, and then I stay warm all night. When I first went out, that was the thing that I struggled with the most, and I kept away from cold weather because of that. And now I'm not so bad. I've been down to about 27 degrees Fahrenheit, and I feel very comfortable now. I don't get freaked out with that kind of weather.
Right. Okay.
I wouldn't choose to be in cold weather over a long extended period of time.
Right.
That's how I manage it.
Okay. So you kind of tend to follow the weather a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Bunny?
Same thing. I try to follow the weather. Dee had the greatest idea ever with the Noggle. Got that. Game changer. It's now going to heat the back end of my van a lot. But after doing it in a tent, I camped at the Grand Canyon when it was 30 degrees, and I was on the ground with no kind of barrier.
Oh,
so
my goodness.
I figured out real quick that
you're a warrior. You're a warrior.
I don't know what I was thinking, to be honest. I took a friend who'd never camped before. That was a whole interesting story. But hand warmers and toe warmers, I will wear a pair of gloves with a hand warmer and then put like a sock over the top of it if it gets super cold. And that keeps the hand warmer off your direct skin and keeps your body warmer, and you're safe. Same thing with toe warmers. I'll do those. If it's super, super cold, I dress in layers. A lot of times, though, it's just about the movement, where you're planning on being. I don't want to be in super cold conditions. If I'm stuck there, okay, but we'll manage, but I try not to. And then another thing I have as kind of a last case scenario is if it's super, super cold, I keep one of those safety blankets, those reflective safety blankets with me.
Okay.
And you can actually work? You can wrap yourself in it, or you can put it between your layers of blankets, and it does keep in your heat. I don't want to have to use that, but it's there in case I need it.
That's a great idea. How about you, Gina?
Well, my first winter was a sleeping bag and 5 cats.
Oh my goodness.
3 dog night was not happening. It was a 5 cat wintertime. But the second winter I had a wave 3. And this last winter, I got a diesel heater. Game changer.
Really?
A step van has a lot of square footage compared to a van. And
right.
Diesel heater it'll run me out of here unless I keep my back door kind of cracked open.
Oh,
And it takes about a gallon if I run it for 24 hours. So, I mean, it can get a little spendy, but I don't use it like that. I use it when I'm sleeping at night because I feel safer with it. But I also, this year, I bought a Mr. Buddy heater just to use when it's not so hot or not so cold. And I
okay.
can just light it up to warm it up quick in here. But a diesel heater, ladies, or anybody getting into van life, is a game changer. I bought the Chinese diesel heater, but if you could get a Webasto put in, do it.
Well, I find too, just one other point is like Bunny was saying, layers. I put on gloves, socks, and I put on, a beanie, and then and with all of that on, plus then I put on, those undergarments, that the long ones, and then I have a down comforter. Sometimes even in cold weather, I find with all that on, I have to come up out of that down comforter because I am too hot. So there are ways without having, super insulation or 500 or 1,000 amp hours of battery. You can keep warm with,
Yes.
I find layering is one of the best ways too.
Yes, layered.
Yeah.
And the idea is when you're living the van life or living in a van, is to live out of your van, not in your van. So,
Right.
if you're somewhere, you're going to be outside doing stuff. You got, think about stuff like that. I mean, don't live in your van, live out of it.
Let me take a break for a second here and just greet some people. I know I am so sorry I'm not greeting anyone, but I am having a hard time. Hopefully my moderators are saying hello to everyone that's coming in. I don't want to leave anyone out, but you all know I don't multitask very well. But Janet Long says, thank you, ladies. I'm building a no build in my Dodge Caravan. I've been researching heat this week. Yes, well, this was very timely for you then. Abia Bina says, but if it gets too cold, I missed what else you said. I'm sorry, but if it gets too cold, look like you said something about family. Graham is saying the beauty. Oops. Someone else is saying, hi there, Johnny's Journey. Thank you, Kenny, for putting out the link to Lady Bugout. I see that my moderators have been putting out links to these ladies, and we'll do it again before we wrap up today. Rox Rolls On is saying hello. Forever One says, yep, a good sleeping bag. That's a good thing, too. A sub-zero sleeping bag is a great idea, a really good idea. And also, which I haven't gotten out to Janice. She won it last week. I haven't sent it out to her yet, but a USB hot water bottle, or even a regular hot water bottle that you just heat up some hot water and put in it, on a butane stove and put in it. Hot water bottles, you'd be surprised at how much that can help and warm you up. Esther Stevens is saying this live is amazing. Hey, when you have amazing people on here, it can't help but be amazing, Esther. Hey, Red from Redheaded Riding Hood, welcome in the house. Nora says we're enjoying this panel so much. Prof Photographer says this is a great stream. Thank you, ladies. It is. Forever One is saying hello. Mary J. Weeds just up to Gina, looking for other links. Could my moderators go ahead and put all the links for all these ladies in here again, so every single person in here can go over and check out Bunny Plays Here, Lady Bugout, and Van Life with Gina. These are some great channels, and if this is just a sample of some of the great content you will see when you go over and visit these ladies. Nancy Haracha, oh, I missed that, but hi, Nancy. Janice says, limited time, 5 cats. Laugh it out loud. You have to make sure you get in before they do. Otherwise, they won't move to give you any space. That's probably true. Saying, thank you, Red, for dropping Bunny Plays Here's link. And I see Van Life. Gina, you dropped it too. Thank you. Ski Wee says, this is great information, ladies. Thumbs up for my brother in Arizona and Nevada. Thumbs up. Hey, Ski Wee. Limited Time says, it's just goals for me, but Gina kept warm with them. She must have a big bed. Probably so. In that bed.
Cats have this idea that they need to be on the highest spot, so they sleep on me. They climb up on me.
Melissa Radio said, dang, she has to go to work and going to miss the rest of the live. Well, you can always, she's sending a virtual hug. Well, you can always come back and watch it. Kenneth says, Carol, go ahead and get your German Shepherd to warm and protect you. I'm working on it, Kenneth. I am working on it. Bernadette says, this is so great watching you. So Janet says, I live in South Carolina and heat only becomes necessary a month a year. You're very lucky, Janet. Very lucky there. Iron Fire Horse insulated your floor with foam board and old newspapers. Oh my. Oh wow. Now, Pilot RTC says, what do you recommend as the very first thing to do to see if van life works for a person who's never done it before? So what would you, I would say, try it. What I did when I went to the RTR, the first RTR, before I started getting involved in this community or anything, I rented a Dodge Caravan, because I wanted to see, how I would like, actually, because I'd dreamed of doing this for years and years, but I'd never done it. So I rented the Dodge Caravan. I wanted to see, number one, how I got along, on the road. And number two, I wanted to see if I needed to stand up or if I could do it without standing.
Yep.
I would suggest finding out what you can and cannot tolerate. So perhaps renting a van and seeing, do I need to stand up or can I do this not standing up? Yep. Do I need more space or can I do it in a small space and be comfortable? And then I would say just go out for a weekend, maybe, not too far, 100 or 200 miles from home, to maybe a remote campsite. See, I would try it with just the bare necessities, like a butane stove, not a non-insulated, say, Dodge Caravan. Test it out and see, because some people jump in having this, glamorized view of it. They get into it and they find out, well, this is not what I expected at all. So I would say, before going to the expense of actually spending a lot of money on a rig and outfitting it, test it out, try it out. Maybe even they're starting the caravans now.
Yep.
Maybe, like Gina was saying, sign up and join one of the caravans. And one RTR, I camped with a caravan for about a week, and it was just a wonderful experience, or do the We Camp Together Facebook. Someone else was suggesting that in the chat. And, meeting people. I would say, if you can, everyone can't. Some people are being forced into this because of, rising rents and eviction. But if you can, and you're doing it as a, by choice, I would say maybe test it out first and see if it's for you. What do you ladies say?
For me?
And I think the same thing. I will say this: if you're interested in seeing what it's like to camp in something that's already kind of pre-done, escape camper vans is not available everywhere, but they do have them some places.
Yeah.
I have a friend who wanted to do van life, rented one of these for about a weekend, decided it's not for them. And this is one that's kitted out and already has a bed and a kitchen and things like that.
Wow.
So this gives you an opportunity to see what it would be like to have those amenities without having to bring them in and purchase them in advance. And it's really a kind of a test to see, do I like this space? Is this something that I can do? Am I going to be able to cook my food in a much smaller kitchen?
Right.
Am I going to be able to find a bathroom? Stuff like that. And it puts it in a more realistic perspective, I think. Something like that. Now, there's other brands that do it as well. I just know she did one of those because they're in her area.
But I pee in a bottle in an emergency. I mean, can I go to the bathroom in a makeshift kind of toilet, a bucket? I mean,
can you sit on a bucket and go to the bathroom is a true question.
Yeah.
If you can't do that, then van life might not be for you. It's kind of like if you're redneck, if your dog and your chain are on a wallet. Well, van life ain't for you if you can't poop in a bucket.
That's a good point. We're getting down to the real nitty gritty.
If you want to know the truth, that's that's the hard truth. Yeah. And Box Van D once said, you can do everything in a van that you do in a house, but it takes you longer, and that is the truth.
And it's harder. And another thing, speaking of the bathroom, I mean, can you go without having a shower every day?
Right.
If, you may be somewhere stranded somewhere or in the desert, or you may not, or if you go into town and they're like $15 for a shower, you're like, oh, forget that,
Well, I can take a shower with a gallon of water now that I've cut my hair. I mean, seriously, with a gallon of water. I have a USB shower head. I have a shower in my van. And so, but I have water tanks, but I've never hooked them up because to me, it just felt like more of something that can go wrong. I carry 30 gallons of water with me, And so, like when I'm off grid, I can take a lot of showers with that water. Plus, I have an extra 5 gallons of drinking water. So, it's you have to be willing to live minimal.
Right.
And if you're wanting comfort, then you need to go buy a $200,000 van. I mean, honestly, if you're wanting to be like in an apartment or in a hotel, you need to live that style. But if you're willing to be minimal and live out of your van, then you can start out with not much. And best suggestion is move into the van before you build it out. See what your space is like. Feel your space.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I would have stayed in this before I built it out, because now I want to change so much. I wish I would have.
That's what I did with mine.
Yes,
I literally put a thought in mind, and I was like, "Let's go to Tennessee and see how this works."
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and I went out in my van, the SUV, before I did anything to see if I really could do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one thing, even with a $200,000 van, what you have to realize is that it's never going to be like an apartment or a home.
Right.
And
Right.
so that is I think the question before the question is, what are you willing to, how do you really want to live? And what are those things that are going to be important for you? People may look at my van and think, oh my gosh, how can she live in that or be comfortable in that? And I tell you, I feel so comfortable in it. I rested with the thought of, I want, Gina, you just said something about you didn't want anything that could go wrong, right? So
Right.
I made mine as minimal as possible,
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't want to have to deal with what could go wrong. And it is really much more simple than we make it out to be. I love those big van builds, and they're great, but they aren't ever going to be like a home.
Right.
And so if your expectation is that you're going to have all the amenities you need forever, you won't like it. But if you can say, I feel joy just, yeah, I can be clean. I can do all the things that I need to do. I can eat, I can sleep, and I really am comfortable. It's not like I'm saying I'm trying to make it look better than it is. It is better than it is for me, because it's so simple. And I expected that, and I love that. So I don't know. It's a little bit different take, I know, but
I think van life saved my life. I mean, if you guys go back and listen to my stories on van life, saved my life. And I didn't have to, but I wanted to with the circumstances in my life, and I have never felt so much less stress than I did when I was in sticks and bricks. And I mean, I lived in not pretty sticks and bricks, but I'm just saying it. And it was an apartment, and it was in the bad part of the town, and I lived there 15 years. And it was like when the day I walked out of the apartment and laid the key inside, walked out, like this huge weight came off me. And I got in the van and drove down the road. Now what? I didn't care, dude. I just felt free. It was the weirdest and the craziest, most unexpected feeling that I've ever felt.
Yeah.
Little did you know that the best years of your life were ahead of you. Is that amazing?
Yeah. Because before I moved in, and most of you guys knows, I was on death's bed, with my heart. Only 25% of my heart works. And I went home from the hospital to pass. And so when I got into this van, I found Chrome, and I'm thinking, Van City Van Life, I'm thinking, man, if he can do it, if Box Van D can do it, I can do it. And found me a van, and we never looked back.
So what made you, I'm just interested in delving just a little bit further, Gina, for people who don't know you on here. What made you, when you were thinking, okay, I may not have that much longer here, what made you decide I'm going to spend it living in a van? What prompted you to make it at that point rather than just give up and say, okay, well, that's it, I'm done? That's a huge change to make when you're already kind of maybe despondent. So what made you decide
to put you in the headspace? They told me they couldn't give me a pacemaker unless I could get my heart to 30%. Mm-hmm. So when I went home from the hospital, I didn't think I could do it. And I never watched YouTube, but I found Van City Van Life, and he kept saying, just do it. And it was like, this dude's talking to me. I felt like he was talking to me. He's saying, you can just do it. Whatever you want to do, you can just do it. And nobody had ever said that to me that way. And I felt like there was nobody else watching him, just me. It was talking to me. And finally, I was scrolling through Facebook and I seen this van on Marketplace. And I said, that's what I want to do. And so I got up the next morning and I went to the YMCA, started swimming every day for 4 and 5 hours a day. And then in 3 months, my heart was at 30%. So they said, we're going to give you a pacemaker. Awesome. I had enough money to put down. This van was like $6,000. I had enough money to put down on it and begged him to hold it till I got my Social Security back pay. And he did. I couldn't believe he did it. And I never looked back. I mean, like, I felt like God gave me a new life, and I got my pacemaker of March 2019. July 1st, I was in this van driving out the driveway.
You know, it's, you know, when you say it actually gave me chills when you're telling your story, because it's like it was meant to be and everything fell into place.
It was like weird.
Like dominoes falling into place, but the right way.
Yep.
That's just, you know.
Right. And I've struggled most of my life, and I was a caregiver for the last 20 years of my working life. And I was working 60, 70 hours a week, and I couldn't even make enough money to have insurance on a car. I didn't even own a car. I sold it because I couldn't insure it.
Wow.
And it was just like, I didn't know what was going to happen. And it just happened. And that's why I always say I owe it to Van City Van Life. He told me, you can do it. And I looked at that computer screen. I'm going, dude, he's talking to me. I can do this. And I did it.
You know, I will say this, that all of the ladies on this panel and many other YouTubers, you don't really realize that the impact that you can have on a person's life.
Right.
You know, when you listen to Gina talk about how Chrome made such a tremendous impact on her life, I think we all have a platform, and, you know, and we have a duty as to how we use our platform. And when I listen to that, it just reinforces the responsibility that we have, you know, as encouragers. We can be encouragers or not. We can make that choice.
Well, still to this day, I look back on how I felt when I came home from the hospital. I didn't see tomorrow. I didn't feel tomorrow. And it was just luck. I never watched YouTube, and I clicked on his video. I go, what's this fool doing building a bed out of 2x4s in an empty van? Dude, I got to check him out. And I was like, it did it. That's all it took. It's weird. The mind is a weird thing, but van life saved my life. I would have to say.
Well, let me ask all of you this question, for those of you who are on. I know what the answer is for me, but do all of you feel like your whole community of friends has expanded since you've become part of van life?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the van community, it's one of those communities that supports each other. They are very much so, like, it's different than a lot of other communities that you'll find. You can have a regular friend group that you start out with in life, but when you find van people, they are different, and not in a bad way, in a great way. It's because we're all here with a certain purpose that is very similar. We all have things that are completely different in our backgrounds, but we have this one thing that bonds us all together, and that bond is the weirdest, strongest bond I've ever seen.
Right.
And at the same time, you could call a person who is in any community that is a van person, and they can relate to what you're talking about. They can be there for you, and it's just really cool. I mean, I think that that's one of the neatest things about the van community in general. It doesn't have an age demographic. It doesn't have a racial barrier. It's just a community. It's a real community. So that's
it don't have an age demographic. You don't have to be rich.
No,
and you don't. You know, it's just something that you can do if you want to get into it. You might take some finagling at first, but you can get it. And like it's kind of because of YouTube. I have so many friends, but man, when another van, like when Lady Bugout watches one of my videos and she comments, I'm tickled pink, man. I'm just like, yeah, my van buddy. Yeah. You know, I've never met her in person, but I feel like I know her, and you too, Carol. And I mean, it's just like, I don't know. The van life community is amazing.
Yeah,
Isn't
it is. And you don't meet a stranger within the van life community.
Right.
Like I met Dee and Carol, and within like a minute and a half, I was like, I know you already. And it's weird because I know that part of it is I've seen you on YouTube, but the other part of it is, again, we have all these weird identifying things that just kind of bring us together, and it just feels like you're talking to somebody you've known for years. So it's cool.
Well, now, Bunny plays here. When are you going to be here in Southern Oregon so I can meet you?
I don't know. I'm trying to plan something right now.
All right. I
Just
want
the
all
weather,
you
the
ladies to
weather.
come here. I mean, I know you guys on here, but I can't wait to meet y'all.
We should go
Dee,
together.
Dee, I see you, you have met so many, you and Bev, are very close, you and Marie. So how do you feel about, this question?
Yeah, for me, I just like Bunny was saying, and Gina, when I do still read every single comment,
Me
and
too.
I feel like I get to know the names of people when they comment,
Yeah.
and get to know them a little bit. Of course, when they come over to Patreon, I get the chance even more to do that, but I really love that. And it's one of the reasons I did that. I came from a situation where I lost my whole community of friends.
Yeah.
And so this to me was a lifesaver too. And I have been like blessed beyond imagination with the people that like you, Gina, you see every time you put out a video, and they comment and encourage and are inspired. And it's very humbling, but it is something that keeps me going. And then
It does.
Then to be able to meet either one of them or one of you that I see all the time as well. So
Right.
it's like having old friends that you just met. So yeah.
Right. And right now, I think I know enough people. I could probably just head out in every state, know somebody, and stop and say hi.
Probably so.
Exactly.
It's an amazing, and the van life community is amazing. I mean, people like Van Life Rocks and Maddie Van Halen, all these people. I just feel like I know them, and I watch their videos. I comment, they comment back, and I don't know. I feel like I have a family. I've never had much. I have a daughter and grandkids, but we don't get to see each other that much. But that's my only real family. But I feel like the family that I've built in this community that's helped me become part of a family. I mean, that's what it's done for me. They've built this, and welcomed me in.
It's a community. I would say that, like Dee, you were talking about how, sometimes when you go through things in life, the community you thought was your community abandons you,
Yeah.
and, this is a community that does not, from what I have seen, does not abandon people. Instead, they circle the wagons around you and come in closer when you have a challenge. They come in and support, and, it's just, so I would say for me, that has been the best part of van life, is the people that I've met, whether in person or online, and even my Saturday lives. I have so many people that come here all the time that I just feel like I know you all, and they know each other. That's what's so cool. And yet most of us have never met in person, but life, I think one of the most important things in life is connections.
True.
And through this, we make connections. And that, I think, is so really a life sustaining, Well, let me give people, this is supposed to be Q&A, but they had so much wonderful information to share. So do you all in the chat have some questions? I know some of you, we've answered a couple of them, but do you have some questions that you specifically would like to ask? Because we want to give you a chance to do that. Kenneth Bailey is saying, Janet Long, you already have me. Julie A says, I lost friends and family that I thought I had. Yeah, that happens. Becky says, I can't wait to start my van life and hope to meet you all. Well, we hope to meet you too, Becky. I Hope we'll all meet up on down the road one day. Ohio girl saying, good to see you ladies all together. I know, ladies of van life, isn't it? You know, we should do this every quarter. We should have a gathering, a get together on one of our channels. You know,
a hangout.
Maybe we'll rotate around, you know, and have a get together. Red is saying that's so true, Carol. Connections, absolutely. Sabrina is sending flowers. Our Kuda Nora is saying, please leave thumbs up, everyone. You know, guys, I always forget that, but yeah, I would love it if you hit thumbs up, if you'd hit that subscribe button, and if you would go over to each of these ladies.
I know you guys almost got me to my next milestone. I'm like 2 away from 3,000. You guys are awesome.
Oh,
man.
you go.
Awesome.
Okay, you guys hear that?
Gross.
Okay, we've got over 3,000 in the next 10 minutes. Okay.
Chef Santa Cooking Travel says, why a step van and not a bus? For me, the step van is all white and it's very stealthy. Like I parked in town before I came out here and started parking, and nobody ever bothered me. But in a bus, you park a bus on the side of the road, people are usually asking you to move. And I've parked in residential areas in this, on side streets. I've parked in like business areas, never had a problem.
Okay. I have a couple of questions. Van Vita wanted to know, do you ever feel uncomfortable with men hitting on you, you know, because you're a public figure? And I know Gina wouldn't mind if Jason
You read my mind. Where is Jason Momoa? All right, and all you guys that follow me,
I don't think any of us would mind if Jason Momoa.
Yeah, I don't think we would either.
He'd be like, I got guys beating down my door all the time to get out.
Did you guys, and the other question was, where do you park in the evening to sleep at night? Where do you mostly park? So those two questions. So anyone want to
Who wants it?
Well, I don't have men beating coming on to me, so I can't address that. Except I did have someone who I've never blocked anyone. This was the first person I blocked who sent, and I hope he's not watching, but sent me an email, hey baby. And as soon as actually I didn't block it. One of my daughter's friends, a teenager, was going through my emails, helping me doing something, goes, oh, I'm blocking this. So he blocked it.
Well, and that's interesting is what I think people, at least online, people don't realize that my son is pretty much my monitor, you know, so he sees them before I do a lot of times. And if there's something that is negative, he just blocks it or removes it. And so that is something I don't think people realize, that I have protectors all around me. All my kids are just going to be like right on that. Okay. And in person, I haven't had that issue of people, unwanted advances. People that I have met have been very respectful. Yeah. So I can't answer to that. I tend to read the environment, and if there is something that just doesn't feel right, I don't put myself in that situation if I can avoid it. So for now, I have had people who are very respectful of me, and I think I'm also maybe not sending out, but I you know, with where my life is out, I am just pretty focused on healing and becoming the best me that I can be. Right. So I don't know that I send out a lot of vibes out there that I'm interested. So
how about you?
Mine is I'm pretty oblivious to everything, and also I carry around a camera most of the time, so that's really off-putting to a lot of people because I'm sitting there talking to myself. But when people do come up, I'm just kind of like,
she is brave,
what's up?
I've seen her in action.
And so I just kind of make it where it's a diffused, pushed over here kind of thing, like, oh yeah, I'm doing my blog right now, and I completely avoid the advance. We just go over here instead of over there, and usually by then it's like, oh, okay, this girl's strange and let's go. But that diffuses a lot. Now, if there was somebody who I was interested in, maybe we'd set the camera down and be like, hi. However, no, not for the most part.
Well, and the other question was about, I see. Nora said a 24-year-old asked her out. She said, fun times ahead. Okay, Nora.
Rock on,
Okay,
sister.
Nora. Now, one other question was, where do you all, when you're traveling, where do you typically sleep at night? Park to sleep.
Yeah, and that again, that's one of those things that until you are out there doing it, you may have all these things in your head about how hard that will be or how fearful you will be doing it. Mm-hmm. But for me, I just, if I'm on the road to a destination and I haven't gotten where I want to go, I will stay at rest areas or pull over at a Love's or Flying J. Those are, to me, the safest places. Cracker Barrel, Walmart's.
I think so
because
too.
There are attendants there, and I feel like there's others around, so they feel very safe for me. And it's just something that, until you do it, there's all these fears around it. But then once you start doing it, you're like, why was I so afraid of that? And so when I'm traveling, that's what I do. But then when I am at a destination location that I'm going to, I look on the apps where those would, the BLM land or
iOverlander is one of the best apps. iOverlander.
iOverlander, Campendium, Free Roam. They all have reviews,
free campsites,
pictures. Yeah. Not always so accurate, but most of the time.
True.
I think my very favorite place are the Loves, the Pilots, those truck stops. I've just, there's 500 truckers around, and I feel like if something really went down, I think that probably at least a few of them would man up or woman up or whatever. And there are always people coming in and out. So I feel more comfortable. I don't park alone in the middle of nowhere with no one around. I just am not comfortable. Some people I know, like Carolyn's RV life, she does, our Bunny, but I tend to like, if I'm going to sleep at night, I want a lot of people around. So I feel like hopefully if something came down, someone would, at least if nothing else, call the police,
Right. Well, and also parking in town. I mean, even when I first moved out into the van, I stayed in town for a month, different places, and there's truck stops around. And before I was a caregiver, I was a truck driver, so I'm used to truck stops. Okay. And I agree with Dee. I'm comfortable at a truck stop. Yeah, there's a lot of camaraderie with truckers. I mean, I did it for a long time. And but also, if you're parking on a side street or in an industrial area, don't be getting out your van. When you go park, it's time to go to bed. Bottom line, it's time to go to bed. You don't get out and cook. You don't, you do everything that you're going to do. You go park to go to sleep. And and I would go to like the parks in the day and cook meals and, hang out at the park, if I wasn't doing anything. And then I'd just go park on a quiet street somewhere at night.
That's what Tim from Mo Bang for Your Buck says. That's what he does. He does all of his prep work. He cooks. He gets everything ready. He does everything. And when he goes in to park for the night, he's locked and sealed for the night. He's not coming out. He's not doing cooking. He's just parking there and he's ready to go to bed. And I think that's really very good advice.
I do too.
The only thing that I'll do is whenever I sometimes am in commute, I actually bought this little kettle that you can plug into your Jackery, and it sucks down some power. Let's just say that. But at the same time, if I do need to park at a place where I still need to be really stealthy, I can plug that in. I can boil some water. I can make a mountain house meal if I really need to. If I didn't get to go get food, if it's gotten too late, if something else didn't work out. So that's my backup plan. But yeah, you shouldn't be getting in and out because that's what draws attention to you in a lot of bad ways.
And it draws attention to the fact that you're alone.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's perfect said right there.
What I always do, and I'm going to come back for a second to you, Bunny, but what I always do whenever, especially, when I'm in a strange place, I always, if I have to go in to get gas or something, I'll always turn back and I'll call back, do you want something to drink? Or if my daughter is in the front seat, I'll call back to her and say, ask your dad what he wants, if he wants anything.
Right.
So I try to give the impression that it's not just the two of us alone or not just me alone. Now, I know what the mountain foods are, but could you explain to people who don't know what that is?
So they have these little prepackaged meals, which actually are good for anyone, even if you're not doing van stuff, because
Right.
they have a shelf life of like 10 years. So
Well,
they're like
that
the
has
worst
25
case
years, actually.
scenario.
Yeah.
But what they do is they actually have freeze dried the food and put this little thing inside of it that keeps it
Right.
preserved. And whenever it's time to eat, all you have to do is boil a little bit of water, and each one is a little bit different. Some are like a cup, some are 2 cups. And after you boil the water, you put it in there, you seal it, and you let it sit for about 5 minutes. You open it, you stir it, you seal it back up for another 5 or 10 minutes, and then you have a meal. And some of them taste delicious.
The rice
I
and
had
chicken.
one.
The chicken and
I
rice.
had one that was from like a backpacker pantry. It was like a Parmesan risotto. Oh my gosh, it tasted so good. Like I would buy that and just eat it like all the time if it wasn't higher carb. They are higher carb though.
I love her diet. I seen a plate of food in one of her videos. If I could eat that, it's more of a Mediterranean diet, and that's what my doctor said it would be good for me. But I tried that, I failed. But man, I was like, if I could just eat that, I'd be looking hot.
I tell you. Graham said travel around with a cane corso. You know those big fierce dogs that, oh yeah, no one will come anywhere near you with that.
Bear spray is good too.
Yes. Oh, someone did ask earlier. Now I leave this to your discretion whether you want to answer it or not. Do any of you carry weapons? And I'll let you decide whether you want to answer that or not.
I will say I did when I first moved into the van, but then I started finding out when you cross state lines, stuff gets sticky.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in a box van or in a bread truck, and I live in a state that is weed growers. And Paul Barger, every time he goes into Idaho, they pull him over. I don't want them to bring dogs into my van and run my cats off,
Yeah.
I'm just like, forget it. I'm just not. Yeah. And so at this time, no, I don't. But I do have other things that work well.
I have ways to defend myself, and I leave it at that.
Yeah.
Again, there are some weird regulations that go from state to state, so do with that information what you will. However, I am protected in many ways at any point in my van.
Well,
if nothing else, I'll throw a cat at you.
Well, I'm a retired peace officer, so I believe in protecting yourself. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, I got you.
Esther wanted Bunny for you to say again what the name of those meals are.
There's several different kinds, but Mountain House and Backpacker Pantry are some of the bigger ones that they have.
Yeah.
You can find several different when you're just looking for meals ready to eat. They're basically a military style ration. Kind of. That's what they started out as. So you can find it under any of those categories.
Right.
Okay. Someone is saying they're going to go sign up, subscribe to Gina when it's over.
Thank you.
Also want to know what Dee's channel is. So ladies, can you all Gina, would you drop links for the different channels?
Yes, I'll do it.
And other mods, can you drop links for all of these ladies that are on here? Graham said that all of you, Kenneth said all of you are famous, so people would come to your aid anyhow.
I don't know about that. I'm super regular.
Okay, let's see if there's any other questions. Pilot TRC is laughing. I'll throw a cat at you. Red says, I am protected. Don't mess with the red. It's a dumb move.
Right.
Jeff Santa's Cooking Travel says, I have a concealed weapon permit, but I also keep a lot of knives because he's a retired butcher. So you don't want to mess with Chef Santa. And someone asked earlier, any tips on traveling with a dog? Now, I do travel with my dog, and I have his dog bed. I also carry his shot records because different places that we go, if I want to take him, we need his shot records. So I travel with his shot records. I also travel with some dog medication just in case, and basically my dog is pretty good at, I don't give him water late at night because I don't want to have to take him out at night. Right. So when we're traveling, and he's on a schedule, so and when we're traveling away from home, it takes him 20 minutes to pee. So I don't want to be out at 9 or 10 o'clock at night I let him out at home, instantly, but when we're traveling, he's got to smell every single spot for miles around. So I make sure he's fed early, and we take care of that early in the day, because you do not want to, if you can avoid it, be out. Like we said, once you're in for the night, it's best to be in for the night. And I don't go places that I have to leave him in the van, because obviously I'm not going to leave him in the van in really hot weather. Right. So I have to be. It's more difficult because it's more restricting, and it is more limiting traveling with a dog, because you have to be mindful. They right. can't protect themselves, so you have to protect them and look out for the environment that you place them in.
Right. So, anywhere I'm at if I'm camping or anywhere that I'm at, I put these guys outside in their outside catio thing. But also, if I'm going grocery shopping, I make sure and don't go at the hot time of the day. Right. If it's the summer, I go in the evening. I'm right. very mindful of them. And you guys would be shocked. These cats are kind of like watchdogs. If they're deer, I'm in a track of deer here, and every morning the deer they'll run from the bed to the front, and this little one knows how to honk the horn. He gets on the horn and he pushes it and honks it when he sees the deer. I'm serious. I'm just like, I've tried to catch that on video, but I was
just gonna say, you need to do a short on that.
Yeah. He gets on and he pushes like this, and my horn's not loud. He goes honk honk, and the deer just bail, dude. But yeah, they let me know when anybody walks around. They'll run from one end to the van to the other, like trying to see what it is,
So you have your cat patrol.
Yeah, they allow me to live with them. That's what it is.
Oh my goodness. So Deborah on the Go says Grandpa's hunting rifle is part of my decor. So any other questions? Oh my goodness. And Gina, are you having a live tonight?
Yes, I'm live at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I have the Shady Place on the show tonight. They're going to perform some music, but they're also a travel channel.
Very cool. So cool. Gina is going to be live tonight at 6:00. And Dee, didn't you drop a video? I think I saw a video you dropped today, this morning. In fact, I commented on, I think. Do you want to tell us about what it's about?
Today seemed to be the one that actually ours were very similar again, Bunny.
Okay. So what's your video on that you dropped today?
Just my time at White Pines Forest State Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about you, Bunny? Have you dropped a video, have a video coming out, or anything you want to announce?
I dropped so many videos. I have 4 videos a week. I did one today. I'll have one tomorrow. I'm currently working my way through my little Smoky Mountain area. I visited there, and I did 3 different videos. So that'll be that.
So go check out Bunny. She's got videos coming out already on Smoky Mountain. So if you have never been there, I haven't, and want to see it, by all means, go check it out. I have a video coming out.
A little late though. This video is not as new as it appears. So I don't post in real time. So I wanted to make sure it got out before the leaves changed. So I had to rush it.
Oh. I still have a couple of videos from last year I want to still release. So you're not late. Yeah, I understand completely.
And thank you guys. You got me up to 3,015. You guys all rock. Yeah, thank you.
Woo-hoo! Okay, now we need to get to 3,500.
There we go.
Right, guys. So everyone on here, share out about Gina's live coming up at 6:00. So I want everyone to do a share for that. And then everyone go in and let everyone know we want to get Gina up to 3,500, and share out. Bunny plays here, Lady Bugout. Hey, we want to, we just got through talking about how we're a supportive community. So let's rally to the cause and get these ladies up to those numbers. Well, I can't believe it's already, oh my goodness, it's 4:20. Time has flown by. I do want to announce real quick 2 things. I have a video coming out this Thursday that I think you all may enjoy. It's a 72-year-old lady. Bunny, I think you met her too. Bunny and Dee. It's Cheryl.
Oh,
Cheryl
wow,
from the Gutted.
She's amazing.
She is. She moved into her van full time. 72, moving into a van full time for the first time. And she is just a delightful lady. You just will enjoy her. And I have you guys know this person too, Barry.
Yeah.
You got a very 76-year-old gentleman, and he is such a gentleman, such a charming gentleman.
He was my neighbor at Gutted.
Yes, he was. He was across a little bit because you guys were across from me, and he built out the most spectacular van.
Oh, yeah.
It's unbelievable. Slide out solar panels that are double deck that he slides out with a power tool, but you got to watch it to see what power tool.
Yeah.
I mean, it took a year for him to build his van. Yeah. So go check that video out.
Every minute he spent on it, though. It was amazing. Yeah.
Wasn't it something? It's just unbelievable. So, and I'm going to have to get with Bunny and Gina to do tours of your vehicles. So hopefully that'll be soon. But I've also have one for D, and D, you have one on your own channel of your van. So people go check those out. And we are going to be doing a meetup in January in Quartzsite off Plamosa Road, January 19th to 21st. So do come out. We have some, I think maybe some little surprises that we'll have up our sleeves, and maybe a little tasty food here or there, and maybe a prize or so, and you never know. But come on out. Mainly, I'm not going to, for legal reasons, I'm not going to really call it a meet up. We're just camping together. So just come out if you want to camp with us for a couple days. It'll be from 3:00 on, because we don't want to interfere with Bob Wells' RTR if he has it. We haven't heard yet exactly, but and then after ours is over, the 21st, Sue Ann from Home on Wheels Alliance is going to have a camping or get together just down the road on the same street, but down further in Baus. And then also Schoolypalooza will be going on after ours. So lots of stuff going on in Quartzsite, Arizona. So hope to see you all there. Ladies, did we drop all of their links on here? Yeah. Lady Bugout, go over and check her out. Bunny Plays here, go over and check her channel out. Smoky Mountains is what's up now. And Van Life with Gina, hit that button and go over to her live at 6:00 this evening Pacific Standard Time.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I guess we're gonna be heading out. I hate to say goodbye. It's been so much fun.
It's not goodbye. It's until next time.
Yes, until next time. Goodbye, that's everyone. Right. Bye. Love you all, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, she left us. Well, hello.
Hello.
Everybody left us. Hey, nice to see you. I'm going to go check out your new video. I seen you dropped one. I hadn't had time to watch it today, but I love how you always comment on my videos. Thank you.
Oh, I enjoy them. They're inspiring to me. So it's a pleasure. Awesome. I just want you to know that I'm there. Sometimes I don't say much, but it's just because I want you to know. That's
kind of how I am. I watch a lot. I watch so many videos. Like sometimes I don't always tag, say something, but all right, hun. Well, if you ever get up this way, look me up for sure.
I definitely will. Yeah, I have to figure out when that is, but yeah.
We're going to be doing a meetup here in Grants Pass area around the first or middle of May next year. So maybe if you're up this way. So, all right, hun, I will let you go. Take it easy.
We're still live. People are commenting.
She didn't
say anything.
She's got to end the live.
I know.
Wow.
That's all right. That's how I would be.
Hey guys,
if I do lives, and this is why I don't do lives.
I love lives. I will text her if somebody's in the chat. Holy moly, I gotta find her number. All right, well, I'm gonna bounce. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye.